B2 C1 English Story. Another Summer. Finally, a warm day. It felt like the first day of the summer. The birds were singing, music could be heard playing softly from garden radios, and the shrills of laughter echoed through the air. Lauren sat on her garden chair, contemplating the last year. Things had changed quite a lot. 12 months ago, she had returned home after spending some time abroad. She felt lost and alone. Now she felt like a new woman, a new, brighter version of her original self. The sparkle was back in her eyes. She had a zest for life, and the anxiety that plagued her whilst living abroad had well and truly gone. The last nail in the coffin of her old life was noticing that her ex-boyfriend had changed his social media photographs to show him with a new woman. He always promised Lauren that he would tell her when he met someone new, but as she had always suspected, he was too much of a coward to do so. She sat and inspected the photograph. She tried to shield the sun from her phone screen to get a better look. His new girlfriend appeared to be lively and pretty. She had lovely teeth and a broad smile. Lauren sighed. In the beginning, it's always perfect, until real life gets in the way. She looked at the photo once again, feeling irritated that he hadn't even bothered to tell her. He had moved on so quickly after saying he wanted to stay single for some time. Again, this was of no surprise to Lauren. She knew he wouldn't be able to cope with being alone. After all, he had never really been alone. Lauren felt almost smug in the knowledge that she was genuinely happy being single, the happiest she had been in years. She had a new job, had taken up hobbies she had stopped whilst living abroad, and was starting to set new routines. Her skin felt toasty in the summer sun's glow. She thought back to her old life and her old flat. She would sit on the balcony and try and will herself to be happy. It never really worked. She was exceptionally good at putting on a happy face and portraying a sense of ease when, in reality, she wanted to run away and hide. She never wanted to come home, but she didn't want to stay there. Now, new, exhilarating paths were opening up to her as she decided what to do with her life. Lauren reclined her sun chair and made some tentative plans for the summer. She knew she wanted a weekend away in Scotland, and if the airports weren't going to be too crazy, she'd like a trip abroad too. She also planned to continue running 3 times a week, and she wanted to start eating better. Even though, on paper, Lauren didn't have as much as she did the summer prior, she felt happier and richer. She never really longed for her old life. Only occasionally when she would miss cycling around or stopping off at a beer garden after work. But that was a rare occurrence. She didn't miss the feeling of stress or the burden of pretending. Now she was free to enjoy the summer and do what she wanted all the time. It was a wonderful prospect. She decided to set herself some small targets that she would keep secret. By the end of the summer, she wanted to be able to run 10 kilometres without feeling like she would melt. She wanted to take a little trip somewhere, either alone or with a friend. And finally, she wanted to stop eating so much chocolate. It was her one vice. As Lauren started to doze in the late afternoon sunlight, she smiled. Another summer, another life. Her life had changed, and although it felt terrible at first, she was now stronger and happier. Time really is the greatest healer. Now, let's go through some of the vocabulary from this story. Burden. Burden. A burden is something difficult or unpleasant that you have to deal with or worry about. Exceptionally. Exceptionally. Exceptionally is in a way that is much greater than usual, especially in skill, intelligence, or quality. Occurrence. Occurrence. An occurrence is something that happens. Prior. Prior. If something happened prior, then it happened, existed, or was done before a particular time. Shield. Shield. To shield is to protect someone or something from someone or something else. Contemplate. To contemplate. To contemplate is to consider something and to think about something that will happen in the future. Echo. Echo. An echo is a sound that is heard after it has been reflected off a surface. For example, you often hear echoes in caves. Glow. To glow. If something glows, it produces a continuous light and sometimes heat. Plague. Plague. To plague is to cause someone or something difficulty or suffering repeatedly. Portray. To portray. To portray is to show or describe someone or something in a particular way. Vice. Vice. A vice is a moral fault or weakness in someone's character. Everyone has at least one vice. Recline. To recline. To recline is to lean or lie back with the upper part of your body. Tentative. Tentative. If something is tentative, then it is not definite or certain. Often making plans can be tentative. Irritated. Irritated. To be irritated is to feel or to be very annoyed about something.